Hi, everyone. Welcome to She's of Love. We've got Kristy Donaldson on today. And today we're talking about through pain to purpose. And you and I were having a beautiful conversation about this the other day about what you see in your work and how people
Mm,
um, who go through a hard time and go through something huge in their life that creates a lot of pain for them,
mm,
that there's gold in that.
yeah.
And it intrigued me because I resonate with that quite deeply because that's something that happened to me when my dad
Mm,
died. I found a deeper meaning in my own life.
mm,
So I just thought today we could talk about that. And I'm interested to hear your take on it.
yeah, beautiful. I love that. Thank you. Yeah, for years I've been a psychic development coach and I still am. It's still what I do and what I love. But something that I think I've always known, but really deeply come to realize and recognize recently is that a lot of people that make their way to me are in that point of pain in their life where they feel lost and directionless. They feel like there's something else, but they're not quite sure what. And life kind of has no meaning. And it's through that pain and that, I suppose, meaningless space that they find themselves in that they find their purpose. It's almost like the pain becomes the purpose, right? To me, I call it the portal to their purpose is through their pain. And yeah, I think, for anyone here that's listening today that is in this moment, or maybe you've been through it and you resonate with this, um, there's always something on the other side, and
Mm.
you will feel that pull. Did you feel that pull?
Oh,
At some
100%.
point. It's not when you're in the thick of it. It's kind of when you come out of the other side, and this is that part where you do start to find meaning. It's like there's got to be a reason I've gone through this, like,
Mm.
complete devastation. And it's when we actually find meaning that it helps pull us through. And most of the time, that's when we go, I feel like I've gone through this so I can help others move through that space as well.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me is that the pain that I experienced was so profound.
Mm,
It was a domino effect because the one event created
mhm.
all these other events to happen
Yeah.
were very painful in my life. And part of the process of dealing with all that pain was feeling like I never wanted another person to feel like me.
Mm,
And also that, sometimes we see other people going through pain, in their
mm,
own lives, whatever that looks like, somebody dying or a sickness. And because we are afraid of it, we don't fully tap in
mm,
to what that other person is experiencing. So we
mm.
don't get the wisdom from their experience in our own lives. It actually has to happen
Yeah.
to us before we really go, wow, that's what that was.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there is a part of us that comes from, so in my space, what I see a lot is people operating from the wounded space. And that space is when we're trying to fix someone moving through a moment where we're wanting to stop them from feeling something or experiencing something, when in fact, the beauty is being able to hold the space for them to move through that pain, to move through the suffering, to move through the complete collapse to the other side and watch them rise.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't think I know that when we come from that wounded space and try and stop it, we hinder the process. We get in
Mm.
the way of it.
Yeah.
And that piece that you just spoke to, that when this thing that happens that is like the domino effect, that happens because you've been holding it all together and something breaks you where you can no longer hold the pieces anymore. And everything literally has to fall to the ground and be rebuilt again. That's why we call it that tower moment. Like everything must burn. You can't rebuild on unsteady foundations. And what feels like complete destruction needs to happen so that those stronger foundations can be rebuilt in a new way to support the new you, because you're never the same after those moments. We had
Yeah.
those ego deaths, those masks fall off, and we, I suppose, meet the person we're always meant to be.
There's always parts of yourself. Like I look back at my journey and the parts of myself that I met that I had never met before.
Mm,
And because I'd never been in a situation like that before. So looking back now, I'm grateful for that wisdom.
mm,
I'm grateful for meeting, like it's an expansion.
yeah.
It's definitely an expansion because there's parts of me now that I look at and go, oh my goodness, like I
Mm,
dealt with that shit, you know?
yeah.
Um, but also I think something to be grateful for in all of that is um that you in that pain you take away um the knowledge that you've what am I trying to say here? It's like you've taken away the knowledge that you're capable, that you're now, it's not something that you ever want to say, I wanted to experience that,
Mm-hmm.
because pain is not fun.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're looking for the meaning, if we're looking for the gold nugget in
Mm,
that experience, my gold nugget is always, well, I handled it. I was able to
yeah.
handle that. And so I was I was able to do something that I never thought I would be able to do before.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think it's important to recognize, like for me, I don't look back with anything with regret, like ever. And I look back at the
I know
pain that
that
I
about
had
you.
two
Yeah.
years ago, and I'm like, you know what, I am willing to sit through that same pain again
Yeah.
if I need to, because of the person I've become today from that. I'm not the
Yeah.
same person I was 2 years ago. And it's only because of that pain
That's
that
right.
has sent me on a journey to really dig deep with the tools that I got. I was lucky and blessed that I had so many tools on board to help move through that. But the thing is that I needed to sit in the uncomfortability, in the hurt, in the devastation, in the like the full collapse before I even brought those tools in. The only thing I needed to do was really breathe. Breath is like one of the best tools that we have to
Yeah.
help, you know, regulate my nervous system so that I could just move through.
Yeah.
And this is the golden piece for me. That's why I'm here doing what I'm doing,
Yeah.
right? I have people in my field that come in and they're like feeling lost. They feel like their psychic abilities are coming online. They're not quite sure. They want to understand them. They feel like they're here to be a reader or a healer or whatever. And then they study and do this. They're like, there's still something else. And it's not because they weren't meant to, connect all of those dots. Those dots were important for that journey because of the new tools that they get to bring on board. And I found myself in that position just recently with a new evolution of who I was. I'm like, I love doing what I do, but there's something I just feel a bit lifeless doing it now. It feels not meaningless, but it just felt like I was here for something bigger
Yeah.
than just teaching people to connect to their psychic abilities and read to others. And anyone that's done any of my masterclasses, any of my programs knows that the thing that I talk about all the time is the most humbling part of what I do is witnessing the transformation of people stepping into their true authentic self and creating radical change in their lives for the better, like really taking ownership of who they are. I love that. I love helping women step into the most empowered version of who they are to
Mhm.
create that change. And, I've studied to be a coach and a facilitator. I hold retreats and all sorts of things. I was like, why am I not teaching people how to hold people to facilitate them through that transformation?
Mm.
I can't think of anything better to be doing. And that's the way that I'm headed now. But um, it's only been because of my journey that I've gotten to where I am. It's given
Yes.
that pain has given me that purpose. And it was through that pain that I found this point at where I'm at now. And who's to say it's not going to evolve again in another, 3 years or 5 years?
Yeah, well, we're all evolving. So it would
All the
make
time.
sense that our offerings to the world will evolve with us.
Absolutely. And, I think I said this to you in an earlier conversation that I deleted all of my programs. I don't know, I think it was about 3 or 4 months ago. This is when I was moving through this space, and I was like, the person I am now is not the same person that created those programs.
Mm.
And I was still trying to carry through a part of the old version of who I was. She didn't exist anymore. So when I finally came to the conclusion that I needed to let go, there was a bit of a process, let me tell you, because there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and love that went into those programs that I've held these containers like for hundreds of women um, over the last 5 years or so.
Mm.
And one day I just went, delete, delete, delete. And as much as I shed tears, I literally had a bit of a cry. I had a bit of a cry over it because it was a part of me that it was part of me that held me through that time of my life. And I was saying goodbye to her. Like, really, finally, it was like the last few pieces that I said goodbye to her. I had no idea what was ahead, and I just put my whole trust in spirit as I normally do. And I was like, show me the way. I've made the room, I've listened, and just wait for the next piece to land. And the next few pieces landed, and the initiated path was created, and
But
which
that's
will
it, isn't it?
stay. But
That
this
that's
is,
that's part of like what you're talking about. This piece is so important, I think, because when you go through that pain and the transformation that the pain brings,
yeah,
it is difficult to say goodbye to the past and
yeah,
let go of things that are not
mm,
serving you anymore, especially
absolutely.
when they were happy times and they were things that brought you great stuff
Yeah,
in life. But the thing that I've noticed is that now it's easier than ever before for me
mm,
to allow things to leave.
yeah. Oh,
It's so much
totally.
easier than it was when I was younger. Yeah. Like,
Ta-da.
yeah, and for someone like me, because I have an abandonment wound,
Yeah.
for someone like me to be able to see things go
Mm,
and be like, okay, bye, that's huge for me
yeah.
because I tend to hang on to things. I tend to want to keep things
Mm-hmm.
close.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I mean, that brings its own problems. Do you know what I mean? So to be able to say, okay, yeah, goodbye, that's fine. You need to leave now. I'm on to
Yeah.
something different. That's another gift that that, the transformation that comes with pain brings with it.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's like this piece inside of the letting go that creates the space for the next thing to come in.
That's right.
And I feel like I've shared this with you. I've shared this online. I had this really profound moment, and I didn't know how profound it was in the moment. But now looking back, I know like it was really big, and it was right when I'd been through my breaking. I was broken. I was right in it, and I was sitting on the headland at Burleigh Heads, and I'd just walked to the top. I'd watched the sunrise, and I came back down, and was doing like breath work as the sun was sort of still continuing to rise, and I videoed this moment, and I was doing the breath work, and I just started crying, And I was actually, what was going on was I felt like this energy of love and support behind me. Getting emotional right now. Of love and support behind me. And I just was overcome with tears and grief and sadness. And there was a part of me that had never felt so held in my life by I didn't know what. And in that moment, I was like, is this my spirit guides? I asked in my head, I was like, is this my spirit guides? I was like, spirit, spirit, the spirit or the energy behind me leaned in and whispered, we're you. Like
Mm.
it was the future versions of me that had gone through all of the big things and times and all the achievements in her life that had come into this moment and stood behind me and just went, just keep going. You just need to get through today. And then you just need to get through tomorrow. On the other side of this hill, trust me, there is something really big waiting for you,
Mm.
but you just need to keep moving and you just need to keep breathing. And it was that I held on to. And then I realized about 6 months later, I had a really big moment when I was traveling that I looked back at that that woman on the hill. And I actually, without thinking about it, leaned in because I knew how sad I was in that moment. And I went, just keep going.
Mm.
And I've done that about 4 or 5 more times. And I've realized that that was I feel like for me, it was a sliding door moment. And I feel like I had an opportunity then to either continue living or not.
Yeah.
And these pieces just keep coming in, and I still keep going and meeting that woman on the hill. And I keep, whenever I have these celebratory moments, I take a moment to lean into her. And that moment on that hill changed my life.
Mm.
So,
Because it gave you hope.
yes,
It made you realize there's love in the future.
yes. But
Mm.
I didn't even understand it
Mm.
in the moment. I just knew that there were future versions of me, but
Yeah.
it still didn't quite make sense.
Because
And
you're in the pain.
I was so in the pain.
Yeah.
I
And
was so
sometimes,
I was in the darkest moments of my life over the days that were surrounding that. And I really did have it was like a live or die
yeah.
time.
Yeah. Because that pain can take us to that place
Absolutely.
where we feel like there's no hope and what's the point?
Yeah. And, for me at that point, I was on this roller coaster. People go, when I've described the feeling, because I'd have really good days and then I'd have a stack of bad, like just I'd be right in it. And I'm like, it's like a roller coaster that someone strapped you in and locked you into your chair. And it's like you're going up and down and all around. Then you come in to stop and you can't get it off. And then the ride starts again.
I
I was
know.
like, I just can't get off this fucking ride. Oh, am I allowed to swear? Sorry. I just swear. Sorry. Can't get off
Don't
this
make me
ride.
laugh.
I can't get off this ride. And and I want to say this to anyone out there that is feeling that pain, because I know people in my life now that are feeling that pain. Even though it feels like it's never going to end,
Mm.
it does come to a stop. And you do get to get off that emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
And life does start to get better. You start to have more good days than bad days. And it's not something you can control when it happens. It's just, to me, I was like, you just have to grab a surfboard and learn how to ride.
Yeah.
Give yourself permission to be in it. Don't resist it, because the more you resist it, the more you resist it, the longer you stay in it.
Yeah. That's so true.
It
And I
is.
think that is the single most valuable piece of advice. Don't resist it. If
No.
you don't want to be on that ride forever, stop resisting
Mm-hmm.
because that's the only way you can get off.
Yeah, absolutely. Be
Otherwise, you're
open
stuck
to
on there
seeing what's
forever.
there.
Yeah.
Own whatever you need to. Leave whatever's not yours. Acceptance is the key.
Yeah.
And also the willingness to be in that emotion that is present there and then.
Yeah. Which is the hardest thing.
because we just don't, it's like, for me, so, I've walked many Caminos I've done a lot of walking in the last 12 months. And in my last one, which wasn't to run away from any pain, although that's what came up for me, I had this piece that kept coming up, and it was from there. I was like, I'm done with it. Like, get away. Like, just leave me alone. Whenever it came up, I had this big void. I would describe it as the void. It's like that would come up, and then my anger, and I'd go to get angry, and then anger would just go into this void. I'm like, I just want to get angry at this piece so I can work out what it is I need to see so I can go. I had to jump into the void. I had to follow it into the void, and I had to give the void a voice, and I had to ask what it needed from me. But here I am tiptoeing around the edges, trying to fix all the other stuff, which didn't need fixing. I just needed to get into it. And actually, when I was willing to be uncomfortable at dropping into the nothingness, into the disconnection, into the abandonment, into the, into the escapism, into the avoidance, which
Yeah.
if you had have asked me 2 years ago if I was an avoidant, I'd go, definitely not.
Yeah.
I've been avoiding things my whole life.
Yeah, we all
And
do.
and and I was completely oblivious to it
Yep.
until I jumped into that void and saw it for what it was. And I was like, oh, hello,
So I'm
there's a
interested
piece.
to know, because that piece there is really important too, is being
Mm,
brave enough to go into the void. But the
mm,
first step is to know that there's a void there, because we're doing
yeah,
everything that we can
yeah,
distract ourselves from the fact that it's actually there. So
absolutely. So there's
what,
there's with people with my coaching, I have an arc that I take people. I call it an arc in my framework. In
yeah,
my coaching, when I teach people to facilitate, when I facilitate for people, there's always an arc. The first piece is making sure that you've got safety in your body, right? One, make sure you're in a safe place to do this work. But
yeah,
two, you got to make sure your body feels safe. That means calming your nervous system. And we can do that with breath work, right? Some simple breaths. We can
mm-hmm,
down regulate. So you can take, if you're really activated, like anxiety, breathless, you can take like a deep breath in for 5 and exhale for 15, right? That's going to deregulate. I don't think that's the right word. My brain stopped.
de-escalate.
Yeah. So it's going to calm your nervous system down. And the
Mm,
humming on the 15 seconds out. So it's in for 5. All the way out for the count of 15 helps to regulate that vagus nerve. It stimulates the vagus nerve for regulation. A few of those breaths, you'll start to notice you feel a bit calmer. That's when you need to be willing to look at those pieces. And,
mm,
for me, I don't go in here, I go into the body. That's like, what are you feeling right now? Where are you feeling it? We give those sensations a voice, because often it's not what we think. It's usually something, completely out of left field. People go, I didn't even know that was there. No, you didn't, because you spend all your time here. And what we don't know until the body speaks, and the body holds it all.
yeah,
So we find out from the body, these are the protective pieces. What are they protecting us from? And that's how we find out what the fear is. So we need to see what the fear is. Then we must be willing to acknowledge that fear as a
right.
piece that has just been protecting us for a long time. The acceptance is the key. So if I look at the fear like a door, accepting
Mm-hmm.
it, we must accept it 100% before we can work with that piece. And sometimes we need to do things to get to that point of acceptance. We can turn the key. So acceptance is the key and the door opens. But we're not there yet. We need to be willing to sit through the uncomfortability of whatever that fear is. We must be willing to sit through that fear to get to the other side. So it's like willingness is the bridge before integration.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean you're going to sit through the uncomfortability of it, right? You just need to be willing to if it comes up. And if
Yeah.
you're willing to, you can then start to integrate. But safety and sitting in a place of loving awareness for yourself is absolutely key. These are the key pieces for transformation.
Mm.
Willingness is key.
So I'm interested to know how the Camino helped you with all of this, brought you to this place?
Mm. Let's just say, so last year, what did I walk last year? 1,113 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
And this year was about 14. And that's a lot of time to be with just yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, most of it I spent by myself because I decided to walk through winter in Europe. It's freezing cold. And I came across like 5 pilgrims the whole time, like probably until the last 2 weeks of my walk. Um, and then when I got to the Spanish side, there was more pilgrims. It was the main pathway. Um, so a lot of time to myself, and I had nowhere to escape.
So that's what it brings to the table for you.
Mm,
It's a physical container for the feelings.
yeah, and this is where I learned pain is the portal. So I was walking, I was in physical pain because I had didn't realize, but I had a stress fracture on my foot,
Yeah, I remember that.
um, which was getting worse and worse and worse. It's interesting because I had the same last year, but this year was worse. The pain was more intense, and the pain actually brings you back into your body.
Right.
Right. So I couldn't escape what I was feeling in any way. And for a while I was like, oh, I was like, why am I continuing to walk when there's so much pain? And I thought for a while, maybe I'm using pain as a distraction. In fact, the pain was the opposite. It was not a distraction. It was bringing me back into the present moment. And I couldn't be anywhere else but thoughts that I was having in that moment. So it allowed me to really be with and see and process those thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, very
Wow.
healing, very intense.
And so I'm now interested to know what next? What's next for you?
For me,
Mm.
in what way do you mean? Like life programs?
Well, both actually, both.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm walking another Camino next year with a
Mm-hmm.
different intention, to just actually enjoy the
Yeah,
Camino because it
right.
is such a beautiful walk, and I'm a little bit addicted now to walking. Um, but now I'm stepping into a greater purpose. I've been playing small for far too long,
Mm-hmm.
and allowing, up until 2 years ago, I was standing on the sidelines, allowing others to be in their greatness or supporting others in their greatness and not allowing myself to shine. And now that I've gone through my journey, I'm in a place where I've been holding beautiful containers where really deep work happens. And the conversations that I'm having with these women recently, quite a few really pivotal ones a couple of weeks ago, where they were questioning, I just feel like there's something more than me just giving guidance and insight to people and helping them heal by, Reiki or energy healing. And they get their, I suppose they feel like they've found a purpose, but not their bigger purpose. They feel
Mm.
like it's something that's sort of transitioning them into something bigger. And that's how my new program, the facilitator program, it's a 6-month container that starts in November. And I'm going to teach people all the tools that I've collated over the years, as well as coaching, for like a coaching framework, so they could walk away at the end of the 6 months and go, right, I can step into guiding and facilitating transformation and helping people rather than look outside of themselves. As much as they're coming to them for help, they're turning that back inwards and allowing that person's body somatically to guide them through the process. They bring their intuition in, to watch and witness where that's going. So they'll guide that to a certain degree. And then when there's tools that are needed, like in a child or reparenting, understanding the thriving ecology of their body, shadow work, all of these other, they're just tools to
Mm.
help facilitate whatever needs to be moved, they can intuitively bring those in. So that's where I'm going. I want to do more of that work. That is the stuff that lights me up. It's the stuff that's changed my life. I know this is the stuff that's changed your life.
Yeah.
And I want to do that in a bigger way than just holding that space for a few people. I want to help people create that so many people can access this
Yeah.
beautiful work. Yeah.
Yeah. So something you said just then really resonated with me. And I
Mm.
know it's a huge topic because in the field that you work in the spiritual awareness and empowerment field, with coaches, a lot of the work that they do um, requires, well, they tell people that it requires a coach for it to be possible. So it's like they hold the power over the people that are in their container.
Yes.
So what you're talking about, and it's an ethos that I also believe in, is that for me, coaching is about empowering the person
Absolutely.
to do the work for themselves
Yeah.
and equip them with their own, with the power that's already existing within them,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
to discover it and
Mm.
cultivate it and nurture it. And it's like a fingerprint, right? Each person
Hmm.
has their own strengths. Um, so I would love, because we're coming to the end now, but you and I have another appointment coming up with each other, another one of these, and I would love to dive more heavily into that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love that. And I think just to speak to what you're saying here, this is why I have a facilitator program, not a coaching program. I'm here to teach people to facilitate transformation, not do it for them, not
Yes.
like literally allow that person's body to guide the process. And there is an act, you don't need a coach to do this. You can go out and find ways and processes and learn them yourself. For me, that's been mostly my journey to a certain degree. But we need to remember we don't know what we don't know,
Yeah.
right? And when we can engage the right person to guide us, they can bring to the table the pieces we don't know so that we can move through that transformational period in a quicker way.
Yeah, it's speed.
Yeah.
That's the difference, is the speed with which
Yeah.
you're able to, that's basically what you're providing is
Yeah.
I took the long road
Me too.
and now I see the shortcuts. So if you
Yeah.
want to know my shortcuts, you can come along with me.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think, I think this is key, right? y- you and there's nothing wrong with taking the long road. Like
Mm,
for some of us, that's been our journey to be able to bring this medicine to the world. Some of us need to embody it in the way that we've journeyed with it so that we can bring the medicine in an alchemized way. Like for me, there's lots of avenues that I've gone down, paths that I've taken, and there's pieces of gold in all of it that I bring into the work that I create today. So, yeah, you're right. Coaching to me is more about, so I still have a coaching. I don't like the word coaching, but I use it because a lot of people resonate with it. When I say facilitator, some people are like, "What are you talking about?" It's like it's a much more embodied way of being a coach, right? And to me, there is a framework. You could use it with structure, but I would recommend using it fairly loosely and bringing your intuition, like your connection in. If you're that way inclined, if you're not, that's okay too. Um, but trusting, when you can trust that you can guide that person to use their bodily wisdom to, for the processes to pull along, they're going to get much greater, deeper, longer lasting transformation than if you were just to sort of say, you need to do this and this is what I see. Like that there needs to be then there needs to be a deeper level of growth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and a more lasting. It's more
Totally.
real to me. Like that's what you're talking about to me. The way I'm interpreting it is that it's more kind of like tangible, it's more real. It's
Yeah,
something that comes from the person from within. You're not
absolutely.
plugging something into them that's like a program or
No,
a way of doing something. You're not plugging
no,
that into that person.
no.
What you're doing is you're reaching in with their help,
Yeah, absolutely.
pull out the natural things that are already there.
Yeah, definitely. And, with this 6-month program that I've got, the first 6 weeks, they do it's not even about learning how to facilitate. It is about them, and it's about them doing the shadow work. It's about them doing the somatic work, working with the body pieces, the body
Yeah.
parts work, the inner child, the reparenting pieces for themselves so that they understand it on a cellular level before they drop into the learning and understanding it at the heady level. Because I don't know about you, but the heady level loses me unless I've embodied it. I have to do things to make it land. And I know there's a lot of people out there, which is why I teach the way I do. And I strip it all back. There's no fluff with me. It's straight and to the point. I'm not going to make something sound complex. It doesn't need to be. It's one thing that I get feedback on all the time in my programs is, why is this so simple with you? Why can't anyone else like teach this way? I don't know. It's just simple is better.
Yeah. And that's your gift.
Yeah.
That's your gift to the
I've
world.
been told
Like,
that is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So for anyone watching, if you're interested in more of this, uh, I will post the date because off the top of my head, I can't remember what date it is. But I will, when I put this video up, I'll post the date
Mm,
with this so you
beautiful.
can tune in the future for more of this wonderful goodness with Kristy.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Love
coming
that.
on today. I appreciate
Oh,
your
you're so
time.
welcome, Anna. I
And we,
appreciate you too. Thank you for having me. It's been a great
yeah, you're
conversation.
welcome. It's always a soulful, beautiful conversation together.
It is.
Yeah.
We've
So
we've walked a few journeys together.
we certainly, yeah, it's kind of like a
Well,
different place.
you were there for my like my was it 2015 or 16? I can't remember.
I think it
It's
was
the
16.
Yeah, it was my breakthrough moment, my breakdown complete
Yeah.
destruction
And
moment
I was there before that
before the
too.
1 2 years ago. Yes, you were.
Mm,
Well, yeah, the entourage, I remember that. Oh my
yeah.
gosh, we go
I
back
know.
way, way back.
We do. We do. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a beautiful journey.
Mm,
It's been a painful journey, but also a beautiful journey.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's
that's
been
why I love talking to you because it's like we connect on that level because we knew
yeah.
each other before this life.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And we've both been through marriage breakdowns and all the things together, everything. Yeah,
that's
it's
right.
crazy. God,
I know.
a lifetime. I love you. You're a beautiful woman.
I love you too.
Mm,
We'll see you next time. Thanks everyone for
okay.
tuning in. Bye.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Bye.